his job, and it wouldn't be for the guy that I'm going to introduce to come up and speak, which he does every year. A guy that's part of our football family and will forever be part of our football family. He and I are in a shitty fraternity together because we both lost sons, and I can tell you that when I heard about the untimely passing of his son, I was coaching at Alabama at the time, and I had just lost my son Nico a year before. When I heard that what had happened here, I immediately called him. And Marty and I knew each other before then. I actually had started the recruiting process on Jordan. And funny story about him, Christmas time, the Christmas before I was leaving here, I just found out I wasn't getting the job to be the head coach. And I was at Columbia Mall feeling sorry for myself, and I had to go do Christmas shopping. It was Christmas Eve, right, Marty?
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve, and I'm in Columbia, and I see Marty and Jordan together at the mall. It's Christmas shopping, and I can remember saying, and he had already was thinking about coming to Maryland at the time. My daughter at the time went to high school with Jordan at McDonough. And I can remember saying, hey, bro, I got a ton of shit you can have for Christmas. You come get all this Maryland shit. Because I didn't get the job when I was leaving to go to Alabama. And so I can remember I gave you a trash bags full of Maryland gear with the intent of never coming back. And here's what I'll tell you, that's why you don't leave places the wrong way, right? I felt that way emotionally, but I still decided to leave the right way. Well, move the story forward. I'm at Alabama, things are going well. After Jordan's passing, I was mentoring Marty through burying his son. Imagine mentoring someone on how to emotionally feel about losing his child. But because of what I went through, I'd like to pay things forward. So Marty and I became even more close. And to the point that I won the Broyles Award that year. And as I got off the plane and landed back in Tuscaloosa, I get a call and I get offered the Maryland job. And I can remember my wife, Kia, was with me at the time, and I said, you know, I don't know if I want this job, because how will I ever be able to go sit on someone's couch and tell them that I want to take care of their child like they're mine at a place where we just lost the child? And so as I contemplated, I said, what do I do? So at the time I told Damon, I said, I need some time to think about this. And I can remember calling Marty immediately. Now, he had already talked to me a couple times, even through the midst of losing his son Jordan. As we had conversations, I remember a week or two before, he says, Locks, do you want the Maryland job? I said, Marty, you know what, man, I don't know, man. I really don't have a great taste about Maryland, how I left. I don't like how these things transpired. And while losing his child on this field here, he still asked, he was willing to say, I might kind of take it easy on y'all, Maryland, if you hire my guy Locks as your head coach. But I said, I don't want that, Marty. I said, the only thing I will tell you is that for me to take this job, I'm gonna need Joe and Tanya, who's Jordan's mom, I'm gonna need you guys side by side with me, because there's gonna be a lot of questions, and there's a lot of things. And I witnessed what happened around here when Lynn Bias passed away. And they brought in another coach by the name of Bob Wade, and he kind of took the heat for all the things that went wrong. And if you just think how in 5 short years we've come from a place where we lost a man's child to now people have expectations, and we're talking about winning Big Ten championships and going to championship games. That's a testament to Marty, Tanya, the McNair family, that they're not bitter. All right, are they hurt? Of course they are. But here's him taking, I often say Jordan McNair died a martyr because of his death. This is this is the safest place in the country to play football. Because when Jordan's passing took place, they put these protocols in place, which Marty is here to meet one of the protocols with Dr. Rooks, our head team physician, and to put these protocols in place on how to deal with heat-related illnesses. And if you think about today, my dumb butt would have had us outside in the sun trying to be the tough guy and say, hey man, but you know what? I have zero say in medical. When Brian comes and tells me we got to change practice, what do I say? When Brian tells me so-and-so got a concussion, and I don't let our coaches or anybody use an excuse of why somebody can and can't play. If they say you're not healthy, then you ain't healthy. And I don't need you to win a game. And so Marty's here to help Dr. Rooks, who I'll bring up now, to go through the heat illness presentation that can and will help save lives because of what Jordan and the McNair family has gone through. So let's give, he's coming up, Marty's coming first. So let's bring Marty McNair up here, man.
Hey guys, I'm sure, can you hear me in the back? I don't stand behind podiums, man. That's like really like very stifling for me, right? But let me tell you guys where I was 6 years ago. Every time I would walk into University of Maryland Hospital and I would go to shock trauma or the ICU, literally I would have to walk the hallway. It seemed like I walked the hallway the size of two of you all's practice fields, right? And while I'm walking down this hallway, man, I got all these emotions, man. I'm fearful. I feel like a failure. I feel impotent. I feel angry. I feel all these different types of emotions because at the end of the day, what did not do to protect Jordan? See, because it wasn't a matter of, I didn't know anything about a heat-related injury at the time, but at the end of the day, whatever happened to Jordan, that was my fault. Because see, I prepared him, what I thought I prepared him to be a leader, right? Always be a leader, never be a follower. Always fight for yourself, always stand up for yourself amongst your peers, right? See, I always taught Jordan what I thought that I knew. What I never taught Jordan was what I didn't know. Because see, I thought a heat-related injury basically was just, hey, you've been out in the sun too long, you get some water, you get some shade, and all will be right with the world. See, I didn't know that a heat-related injury or a heat stroke is the equivalent of your body being in a microwave oven, right? And we put food in the microwave to do what? Cook. So when your core body temperature is above 140 degrees, that's literally the equivalent of your organs cooking, right? So while Jordan was in the hospital these 2 weeks fighting for his life, and every day I'd walk down this long hallway with all these emotions, and then as soon as I would get to the elevator to go up to the ICU, I got to put this mask of strength on to be a face of strength for my family. Jordan passed 2 weeks later, and I kept telling Jordan why he was in the hospital. I kept asking myself all these questions while I walked down this hallway every day. What did I miss? What questions didn't I ask while Coach Durkin and Coach Borbley at the time was sitting at our kitchen table a couple days prior to signing day? I usually ask probably what everybody in the room's parent asks. Is he going to get some playing time, number one? And I asked something around mental health and substance abuse support because I owned a drug treatment facility in Baltimore City at the time. That was it. I didn't have an innovative mindset. What could possibly go wrong at UMD? I never thought to say, when something happened to Jordan, what are you all going to do? Or what is your emergency action plan? The way that I educate parents and everything now, I never thought to do any of these things. And I kept telling myself as I walked down this hallway every day that the shorter the hallway got, the better Jordan was going to get. And I kept asking myself, what did I miss? See, I didn't know that Jordan fell into predictable statistics. See, 2 to 3 linemen were dying in the NCAA every year from a heat-related injury. Jordan was number 31 in 2018. Brady Bradford from New Jersey died that August. He was number 32. Never heard anything about it. I didn't know any statistics. I didn't know anything. But one question I kept asking myself was, if I don't know these things, how many other parents in America don't know these things about heat-related injuries as well? See, I didn't know about heat-related injuries at the high school level, at the youth level, at the AAU level. And I kept asking myself, and I just asked myself all these questions, and I'm going through all these emotions, and every time like I said, I pressed that ICU elevator to go up, now I got to be strong again. And I kept telling Jordan, I said, man, guess what? If you don't play, you're McNair. We don't die, we multiply. And I kept telling him these things because I knew we probably won't play football again. He had just had a liver transplant. 85% of his liver was in necrosis, right? So the likelihood of him bouncing back playing football was kind of slim to none. There was a young man that had the same type of injury at Towson State by the name of Gavin Class, right? And you know how a lot of times when we see something and we see somebody else go through and they got through successfully what we're dealing with, that gives us a shot of hope, am I right? Right. So when Gavin and his mom walked into the hospital that day, I already knew it. Like, man, this guy made it. He had a liver transplant. He did this, he did that. He might have been worse off than Jordan. He made it. Jordan's going to make it. Right? So when Jordan, as the second week went by, and I kept telling myself this hallway is going to get shorter and shorter every day, on the 12th, Jordan became brain dead. On the 13th, we disconnected him from life support. But that day, when we left the hospital on the 12th, our whole family was together. We had this really big, we got a praying family. And every day when we left, we all went up the street to this restaurant, aunts, uncles, grandparents, just our whole village. and we all shared stories of Jordan. Everybody in the village had a story about Jordan. Every single person. And some of the stories were so funny, and this was just a very, very warm moment. See, but when things happen, tragedy happens, and coach will tell you, you're going to do two things. You're either going to do something about it, you're going to accept things for the way they are, or you're going to make some type of change. We started the Jordan McNair Foundation 3 days after Jordan passed. And at the end of the day, guys, all I knew what our initial mission was, we just going to promote the awareness, we're going to promote the education, and we're going to promote the prevention of heat-related injuries, right? I didn't realize that at this time, man, this would be, here we are 6 years later, I'm standing in front of y'all, and it ain't even about heat-related injuries. That's today's topic. But this thing got so much bigger because at the end of the day, I started thinking, right, like when I used to take Jordan to all these clinics, and guess what? Jordan was 6'5", he was highly recruited, right? Coach tell you, we went everywhere. Nike, Under Armour, Army All-American, Adidas, all these different combines, right? So back to that question, if I don't know these things, and as a parent, all I had to do was passively just sit in the stands like you all and just watch my kids, like probably most of you all's parents. Because see, in my mind, Jordan was just like everybody in the room. He had the potential to play on Sundays. So we thought. I never thought that he would be the poster boy for safety across the nation. Never had an idea about that. So it's the work that we continue to do, like I just told y'all, this is so much bigger than heat-related injuries, right? Because now, as an organization and a foundation, our main goal is to plant seeds, right? And what I mean by planting seeds is, see, because I started looking at what I missed from a parent's perspective. So I feel as though, okay, now we need to plant seeds to parents, to educate kids, because when I told Jordan early on, I always raised Jordan to be coachable. Whatever coach say, that's the right thing. Y'all a whole different breed of guys now. Y'all got resources. Y'all got information. You all are thought leaders. You all are free thinkers. You can look at your phone every day, and everybody on social media, y'all think smarter than the people that's taking care of you. So you all have a lot more of resources nowadays. So now we plant seeds. The parents to plant seeds of self-advocacy in their kids. We plant seeds with coaches that have partnerships with their student athletes. We plant seeds with guys like you all that have partnerships with your coaches. Because now if y'all can't speak up for yourself, who you expect to do it for you? So what we're starting to do now is start educating more. Man, I'm going to tell you, this whole journey, I thought one bill would have been enough. Anybody know, how many of y'all got NIL bills? Show of hands. Anybody know whose name the NIL bill is in the state of Maryland? Nobody? Do you know what the NIL bill is called in the state of Maryland? It's called the Jordan McNair Safe and Fair Play Act. Who worked on the bill? To make sure y'all get paid? But it ain't even about that though. Don't give me no applause, because in the state of Maryland, we're literally the only bill out of all 50 states that have a notable provision. And you know what our notable provision is? We promote our notable provision is your health, your safety, emotionally and physically. Can't nobody take a scholarship from you, right? No, none of that type of stuff. That's our notable provision to the bill. All y'all got NIL bills, NIL deals, and you don't even know what the state law is to make sure you got it? Come on, guys. I need your help carrying George's legacy. That's how we do that. Man, I'm looking at you all now, man. I'm going to tell you, and I got to move on. I ain't have a whole lot of time. But when I talk about partnership, and I talk about this being more than heat-related injuries, man, because I could just sit here and talk about heat stroke, but I can't. This is about self-advocacy, man. This is about partnership, man. This is all about you all doing the best for yourselves. Y'all got manicures on Sunday and pedicures. Manicures and pedicures and massages. Where the hell, where they doing that at? I get a massage and a pedicure and a manicure every 2 weeks. I need to be down here. I need to come down here Sunday. But again, guys, matter of fact, let me be very, very transparent. Locks took the job. He called me, like he said. We had a lot of conversations. You know what he told me? He called me one day and he said 3 things. I ain't gonna tell you the first thing he said. He said, what do you want me to do? I said, Coach, get a mental health professional for the football team. You remember? And get a team doctor. Because at that time we were just some ambiguity. We didn't know exactly what we were. A mental health professional and a team doctor. Get a mental health professional just for the football team. These is what we were talking about, guys. You all have resources. There's no reason that you all should not take advantage of your resources here. For those who wanted appointments, guess what? All you gotta do is make an appointment. You got grief counseling, you got mental health counseling. Because at the end of the day, guys, you gotta listen to your physical, you gotta listen to your mental, and you definitely gotta be in tune emotionally, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're not using your resources, how can you get some help? Y'all got it, it's no excuse. Maryland is literally one of the safest places to play football at, or to be an athlete at overall. Guess what, when it comes to heat-related injuries, I was just telling Yvette and Dr. Cochran, Dr. Val, right? I was just telling them, this time of the year, guys, it's August 2nd. More than likely, last year, we already had 2 to 3 heat-related injury deaths. This time, last year. This time this year, we ain't got none. In the sports-related space, this is the hottest summer that we've had ever. Global warming is real. You all have to listen to your bodies. This is my business now. I catch every death, the majority of deaths across the nation, whether they eat, whether they cardiac arrest. That's just the business that we're in, because a lot of times we talk about statistics, where they have it at, the age group. These are just things we need to know when we're looking for funding and making an impact. But we haven't had any this year. You big guys, more than likely, y'all fall in those predictable statistics. But I think nowadays, everybody has a heightened sense of awareness about the temperatures, about heat-related injuries and things like that. If you don't know, pay attention to what's going on. So in conclusion, guys, listen to some of the stuff I told you, man, it's 100%, I'll be around. You ain't never got a problem pulling me up and talking to me. But what I ask you all to do, like I said, listen to your bodies, most importantly, mentally, physically, emotionally. Second of all, look out for your teammates, right? Because we need each other. And thirdly, man, please have some type of faith that you believe in, that guide you, to guide your moral compass. Don't do nothing that will embarrass your parents the very next day, because we are all one poor decision away from life changing, period. So everybody, thank you. Man, I love you guys.